So how was that process for you? Just the entire process of change.
Oh, the process of change. Like I said, I started studying philosophy. I started studying the philosophy in the sense that I hit rock bottom. I hit rock bottom in the sense that I hit rock bottom with my body, and then I hit rock bottom with my mind. How the body was, like I said, I was obese, I was a pre-diabetic, and I had heart disease. So now I'm in the worst shape of my life. So the change happened with my body because I was angry. I was angry that my mother had passed away from a heart attack. I was angry that my uncle had passed away from cancer. So I wanted to know where these things came from. So I decided that I was going to do mad research and find out, transform my own health. So that was where my drive came from when it came to transforming my body. But as time went on, I realized, I transformed my body, but I really didn't transform my mindset.
What's up, you beautiful beasts? I'm Katie. I'm on a mission to help humans become the best possible versions of themselves and to strive for overall health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, all of the healths, without ever having to step on a scale. I have had the privilege to talk to all kinds of different humans who've been through a plethora of experiences just being a human and existing. I believe that every single time somebody shares their story, at least one person listening will learn from it, be inspired by it, and maybe, just maybe, even change the entire direction of their life. These are the stories of humans unveiling their beautiful beast. Keep listening. This is the Unveiling the Beast podcast. So cool. Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, cool. I don't know if you had a chance to look me up or anything.
I looked at your page briefly and I watched the video about your book.
Okay, no, oh, the book promo video.
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I like that it was a British woman.
Yeah. Yeah, that was intentional. I was
Awesome.
like, forget about that American stuff. We don't have cool
Yeah.
accents. They have cool accents.
Yeah. And then the person, or at least I pay attention to that more, and her voice was very soothing. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think I think that was actually AI though.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. AI is taking over. I'm using AI like crazy now. It's taking over the world.
Yeah. I'm kind of scared to use it. I don't know
Don't be.
why.
Don't be. It's like the internet back. You remember when the internet first came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely like the when the internet first came out. So
Yeah.
it's the beginning stages of it. But yeah, eventually in the next couple of years, it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think I want it to do any of my pictures though, because I think that's kind of fit. Like I've seen where people are like, I took this picture and AI made this picture. I'm like, that's scary, realistic, and also not authentic, in my opinion.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it just makes my life a lot easier when it comes to things like writing emails and social media. And I'll just
Yeah.
say, hey, write a post about this, and it does it. Takes like two
Yeah.
seconds.
I probably should put some of my fears aside and just try it, you know?
Yeah. Whether you have fears or
Can't
whether
hurt.
you don't have fears, it's going to be here.
Yeah, exactly. So So yeah, tell me a little bit about you and how you are you.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I don't know where
Yeah.
you want to start. Yeah, I can start from my early days, or I can start from my previous last few years. The last few years have been a turnaround for me. Last few
Yeah, let's
years.
start there.
Last few
Just
years.
because, yeah, the last few years, because it's fresh and also like it, because that was the first thing you said, it seems that that's the most significant right
Yeah.
now, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last few years, I made a total transformation in my life. I went from being in the worst shape of my life to the absolute best shape of my life by using the power of lifestyle medicine. I was obese, I was a pre-diabetic, and had heart disease. Before
Mm,
that diagnosis, my mother just passed away from a heart attack, which is the leading
mm,
cause of death throughout the United States. But not even just the United States, but it's the leading cause of death for human beings like throughout the planet, like worldwide. It's the number one
yeah.
reason that people die. And then my uncle, a year later, he passed away from cancer. So I was his caretaker. So I saw my mother pass away instantly with the hospital beds or with the life support machines, and you see the ticking numbers go to her heart rate go down to zero.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw my uncle pass away, not suddenly, but I saw him go from a very strong man to a very weak man in a matter of months. And I was his caretaker during COVID during that time. And like I said, I go to the doctor and he passed away. And then I go to the doctor and they're like, hey, listen, man, you got the triple whammy too. So basically your mother just passed away from a heart attack. Now you're getting diagnosed with the same thing. So you're going to be on the trail pretty soon if you don't stop digging a
Yeah.
grave with your teeth. But that's what I was doing. I was digging a grave with my teeth. So I decided that I was going to make a change. So my mother came to me in a dream and told me that I had this ability to be able to help other people heal themselves. So that is the mission that I've been on. First was to become my own best client. And then now it is to transform the health of everybody else on the planet.
I love it. What was that like for you when you got that news about yourself?
Oh, when I got that news about myself, I realized that the doctor wanted to prescribe me a statin medication. He was like, hey, here's a statin medication and have a nice day. Basically, like your cholesterol is through the roof. All you got metabolic syndrome. I mean, you're obese, you have pre-diabetes, which is your sugars out of control. You have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, the whole metabolic syndrome. So when I got the
Yeah.
diagnosis, the nurse called me. The nurse said, hey, the doctor wants to prescribe you some of these statin medication, this, that, and the third. So I just like, it was just the worst moment of my life. Like I said, my mother had just passed away. My uncle had just passed away. And they're like, hey, listen, you got all these chronic diseases or conditions. So I had experienced a very, very low moment. So I decided that at that point, I was not going to take the medication. I was like, yeah, prescribe me the medication, but I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take the medication. And I decided just to do what the tour guide told me. Went on a cruise a few years ago, several years ago, actually. And he told me, well, it was on a tour. He said that we don't get our medicine from the store. We get our medicine from the land. Anything's wrong with us, we go out
Mm.
into the land and we go get the bushes and we go get the trees and we go get the plants and we mix them together and we make a concoction and we eat it, we drink it, and then there you go. That's our medication. So when the doctor said, hey, here's a statin medication, I remember what that tour guide told me years prior. So my mind just started going into crazy mode. I was like, I'm not taking medication. Whatever it is, I'm not going to take it. I'm like, there's got to be an alternate way to be able to heal myself without being hooked on prescription medication. So yeah, that moment was it was a very low moment for me, but at the same time, it was a very invigorating moment after I had the epiphany that I'm going to do what that tour guide told me.
Yeah. And I do like that you bring that up. Not that I want to put all doctors into a bucket, but it seems like these days all they want to do is treat the symptoms rather than look at what's causing the symptoms. You know, they're like, here, take this pill, and they're kind of like our drug dealers these days, rather than like trying to figure out what's going on underneath that's causing all the issues. You know what I mean?
100%. So that is why I
Yeah.
went back to school. I went back to school and got certified in functional nutrition, basically holistic nutrition, to find out. And I specifically went back to school for disease prevention. Like, where does diseases come from? Where does heart disease come from? Where does cancer come from? Where does diabetes
Yeah.
come from? Like, it has to come from somewhere. Some wake up one day and you have diabetes. Some wake up one day and you got heart disease. It has to come from somewhere. So I decided, where does it come from? So I just started doing crazy, crazy amounts of research. And then more and more, it kept pointing me back to the food. It's the food. It's the food. So I decided to change what I was eating. And then
Mm.
I call it the diesel fuel. So I went from the diesel fuel to the unleaded fuel and my body transformed. So like you were saying about the doctors, all they want to do is two things. They want to prescribe you a medication and they want to do surgery. Those are the two
Mm-hmm.
things that they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the two things that they want to do. Prescription, if that doesn't work, okay, crack his chest open. Okay, gastric bypass. Okay, this surgery, that surgery. Okay, this medication, change up that medication, and then the cycle continues until the person
Yeah.
passes away. Ultimately, from that same condition, people still pass away from the same condition that they're taking the medication for.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned the gastric bypass. I have an issue with that, and I'm not putting anyone down who's gone through that surgery. It's just like they take perfectly good organs and destroy them, and then you have all these side effects for the rest of your life, all in the
100,
name of weight loss. And not, in my opinion, not all weight loss is healthy. You know what I mean? Like somebody can
100%.
be 100% anorexic and losing weight, and they're getting praised along the way because they're losing weight rather than you know, taking care of their health, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, so that's what it was. I decided to figured out it was the mindset change. You have to change your
Hmm.
mindset to be able to accomplish these goals. Right? So when we wake
Yeah.
up in the morning time, 95%, 90 to 95% of the same thoughts that we thought the day before and the day before that are the same thoughts that you're going to continue to think. So if you want things to change, you have to change your way of thinking. You have to change your
Yeah.
thought process.
Yeah. So how was that? How was that process for you? Just the entire process of change.
Oh, the process of change. Like I said, I started studying philosophy. I started studying the philosophy in the sense that I hit rock bottom. I hit rock bottom in the sense that I hit rock bottom with my body, and then I hit rock bottom with my mind. How the body was, like I said, I was obese, I was a pre-diabetic, and I had heart disease. So now I'm in the worst shape of my life. So the change happened with my body because I was angry. I was angry that my mother had passed away from a heart attack. I was angry that my uncle had passed away from cancer. So I wanted to know where these things came from. So I decided that I was going to do mad research and find out, transform my own health. So that's where the change came. Like, I'm angry because I'm furious because my mother passed away from hot dogs and hamburgers and all of the greasy food, right? So I'm furious about that. So that was where my drive came from when it came to transforming my body. But as time went on, I realized, I transformed my body, but I really didn't transform my mindset. I didn't transform the mindset, and because I went to a deep state of depression. I went to a deep
Mm,
state of depression for a few years simply because I was stuck in, just like I said earlier, if you're stuck thinking about the same thoughts that you were thinking about the day before and the day before that, guess what's going to happen to you? Those are going to be your dominant thoughts, and you're eventually going
yeah.
to feel your brain just felt like mesh. My brain was nothing. I wake up every day and I feel like blah. I wake up every day and I feel like nothing. Right? Like, even though I had lost all of the weight and everything, but I still was just like basically an empty vessel. So
Mm,
that is when I decided to switch things up. I decided to, the same way I transform my body, like, okay, if I can transform my body, then I found out that your brain is very neuroplasticity, meaning that it can change.
yeah.
Depending on, if you don't like the output, you have to change the input. So I had to change the input. So instead of waking up every day and doing the same thing each and every day, I realized that for things to change, I had to change. So I went on a crazy mission to start transforming my mind. So that's where the process began, start transforming my mind. So I started studying philosophy, all these different things, because I was tired of being in a depressed state. I was tired of feeling,
Yeah.
having anxiety. I was tired of all of that stuff. So once you get hit rock bottom, the only other option is to change, because if nothing changes, then nothing's going to change. Just like with my body, I'd probably be pushing up daisies by now if I hadn't
Yeah.
changed the way that I was eating. Because I was, like I said, my heart disease, I had angina. Angina is basically like an early indication or early warning sign that a heart attack is right around the corner.
Mm,
Yeah, so I had to change. So I
yeah.
changed my mind, had to transform my mind and my body. Started with my body, and then the last year or so, it's been my mindset. So I started adopting all these different philosophies on life and transforming your mind.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
thank
do
you.
have a question. When you were like rewinding a little bit, when you were in the process of putting your body into that state right before you found out that you had all these diseases, were you aware that you were doing this, or was that awareness after you were diagnosed? Does that make sense?
I'll tell you this. I talked about diesel fuel and unleaded fuel earlier, but I
Right.
believe that there's two types of people. I believe that there's ants and there's grasshoppers. I was a grasshopper before my mother passed away, before I got all the conditions. And I can look in the mirror and say that my pants weren't fitting. I can look in the mirror and say that the belt that I used to wear, I'm on the last loop and I can't even fit that anymore. So I
Mm,
was aware of that, but I wasn't aware of that. What was really causing it was the food that I was eating. Like, I stopped by every day, and like my favorite thing was a double cheeseburger and extra pickles and a small fries. That was my favorite thing. And then wash it down with a Mountain Dew. So I built this man cave upstairs, and in the man cave, I just literally had snacks everywhere.
mm,
Snack like gummy worms, Mountain Dews. Like, I'm hiding stuff. because I don't want anybody to find my secret stash.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm living life like as a grasshopper in the sense that I'm just hopping around without a plan. I'm eating whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. And as a consequence, that, and when you go to the doctor says, hey, you have this condition and that condition. And I'm looking for the doctor for a bailout plan. Like, hey, doc, can you give me this bailout plan? Can you give me this medication or can you give me that medication? But I'm here to tell you that the bailout plan doesn't always work. So when the bailout plan didn't work, I had to take it upon myself to realize that I was a grasshopper, and I had to embark on an invisible journey. The invisible journey is, we can talk about the invisible journey a little bit later, but basically I had to go from a grasshopper to an ant. Ants are the most determined species on this planet. All right. They're the most successful species on this planet. We'll talk more about ants later. I'll talk about it at the end probably, but ants are the most successful life forms on this planet. So I know that in my opinion, there's two types of people. There's grasshoppers, meaning you're hopping around without a plan and you're just taking life as it is. And whether it's finances, whether it's health, whether it's personal development, whether it's your faith, whether it's anything, right? You're just hopping around without a plan, zero plan. And then ants on the other side, they are the most focused, most determined. They're the opposite of the grasshoppers. They plan ahead, they never quit, and they always think positive, and they always do all they possibly can. So this is the philosophy of an ant. So that's the philosophy that I decided to adopt. So now that's the life that I live. I live my entire life through the ant philosophy.
I love that. Did you have people along the way like supporting you?
Yes and no, but it was, I didn't really care what anybody else thought. I thought that this is something that I have to do. This is something that I have to do for myself. So whether it's on the outside, people are like, hey, yeah, I want to encourage you to do this, encourage you to do that. Like, I don't need motivation from the outside world because I know that this is something that I want to do internally for myself. So when you get that drive, when you get that determination in you, that I'm not going to stop. Like I said, the ant philosophy. Ants don't quit no matter what. You put a pebble in front of an ant, it doesn't stop. It's going to get to its goal no matter what. It's going to go to the left. It's going to go to the right. It's going to try to go over the top if it can't get to it till its goal. But it's going to, even if those things don't work, it will try to recruit some other ants that, hey, ants, help me out. Let's move this pebble out of the way. And if that doesn't work, they will literally try to gnaw their way through that rock or pebble to get to their goal.
Wow.
All right.
I love that. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. That's the ant philosophy. Like I said, I live my entire life by the ant philosophy. That's just a single part of the ant philosophy, but the ant philosophy, we can go on for days. I can go on for days with the ant philosophy. That is literally how I live my life. I live my life through a tiny insect. The most successful life form on this planet is an ant. Who would have ever thought that? Because they were around when dinosaurs were around. Over 65 million years ago when dinosaurs went extinct. Do you see any dinosaurs around here?
Nope.
No. But I bet you can go out to your backyard right now and you can find an ant pile.
Yep. Lots of them.
Yeah. And if you kick
My
it over.
My backyard is dirt.
And if you kick it over and you come back the next day, what's going to happen?
They'll be there.
It's going to be right back up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. So it's ants and grasshoppers. So I decided that I was not going to be a grasshopper anymore. And I decided to make some serious changes because, like I said, if nothing changes, then nothing is going to change.
Yeah. I love that too, because some people feel like they can't do the thing unless they have somebody there or unless they have like an outside team rooting for them. And they don't know that you can do the thing. The only person you need on your side is you. You know,
absolutely. The major key to your better future is you. The major, sorry, underline major key to your better future, and then underline you. The major key to your better future is you. So the outside stuff, yes, it's great to have family to support you and all that stuff, but a lot of times you don't have people are looking at like, oh, you're eating healthy, or oh, you're eating that, or eating this. What about with the family get-togethers and eat this junk food, eat that junk food, right? So when you go to the family events and parties and you're not eating the junk food anymore, people are kind of looking at you strange, like, you know, it started out kind of cool, but then they're like, this guy is really kind of cuckoo, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not cuckoo. I don't want to be pushing up daisies.
Yeah.
Right? Doctor, you know, listen, I got all these chronic health conditions. I'm not trying to be. And then, like I said, my mother just passed away from heart disease. And I go to
Yeah.
the doctor, I have heart disease. So what do you think that means for me? That means that it won't be long. So I'm a guy in my
Yeah.
40s and I was already having angina, like I said, which is basically restricted blood flow to the heart. Chest pains, chest palpitations would drop you to your knees. So yeah, it was pretty bad. So I decided
Yeah.
I don't care what the outside world thinks. I'm doing this for me.
Yeah. I love that. And I just wanted to share with you, like, I have this post-it on my computer screen that says, "You are all that I need to go through this life," and it's a note to myself.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's a
You're all you need to
reminder
go
that,
through this life.
yeah, and it's because I spent so much of my time thinking that I needed the outside world for me to exist, if that makes sense. And I've just recently learned, like, the only person that's going to be there for me in the future, the only person that's going to be there for me around the corner when I go around the corner is me. I'm the only one that's going to be there. So come on, let's get to know each other and hang out.
That's it.
You know?
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. You got to take the
So,
time to get to know yourself. Take the time to get to know yourself. That's why I meditate in the morning time. That's what meditation means. To become
mm,
the definition of meditation is to become familiar with. So you're
mm,
meditating, you're becoming familiar with yourself.
I like that.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I like that. I like your mantra there.
Yeah. I didn't make it up. I got it. I don't remember who I got it from though, but I remember I was like, I wrote it down very quickly.
Well,
You're all
that's
that I need
amazing.
to go through this life.
I don't make a lot of this stuff up that I get. The stuff that I'm talking
Yeah.
about, I haven't made this stuff. This is not my own stuff. I get this stuff
Yeah.
from different sources and I put it in my own words.
Yeah. That's
Right.
the best.
Especially like the Bible, right? The Bible is in Proverbs is filled with all different types of, that's why it's called Proverbs, because it has all different types of stories. So I take a lot of these
Mm,
stories from the Bible and I use it in my everyday life. I use it when I coach my clients, right? Because
nice.
that's gonna turn them into a success. Just
Yeah.
follow these simple philosophies.
That's awesome. That was actually going to be my next question is talking about your clients and your coaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, do you or would you consider yourself a health coach?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am. That's when I went back to school for. So I'm a holistic health coach and plant-based nutritionist. Holistic health coach, plant-based nutritionist. So yeah, I take clients from, I want to know everything about them from A to Z. You know, how they, it's the six pillars of lifestyle medicine. So that's what I preach, lifestyle medicine. So
Mm-hmm.
it's I have an acronym called PACE. And I want people to maintain your pace. If you maintain your pace, you're going to be back to optimal health. What's pace? The P stands for peaceful mind. Right? We were just talking about meditation
Mm-hmm.
and what do you do to relieve your stress? Right? That's the P, peaceful mind. The A is active body. Get out and start moving your body. All right. Get some activity in you and don't be a couch potato. Right? I want you to go out and be a bodybuilder, but I don't want you to be a couch potato either. Get out and start being active. And the C is for clean eating. All right. Clean eating, cleaning up your diet, eating a lot more fruits, a lot more vegetables, a lot more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Start dialing back on the ultra processed foods. Like let's get rid of the ultra processed foods and let's start getting you some clean eating. And then the E is for energizing rest, sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Rest when needed. To make rest a necessity, not an objective. That's what ants do. Ants make rest a necessity, not an objective. So maintain your
Yeah.
pace. PACE. So yeah, that's what I teach my clients. I teach my clients the six pillars of lifestyle medicine. That was just four of the pillars, but those are the main pillars that I teach my clients in everyday single life. Like, if you want to totally transform your health, if you want to reverse these chronic conditions, a lot of my clients are people who have hit rock bottom like me. I'm able to coach them up because I know exactly what they're thinking. I know that the thoughts that they are going through their head. I know that the obstacles that are come up on usually, you know, after a month, after 6 weeks, after 8 weeks, after however many weeks, because you got to, you know, the ultimate goal, you got to lose all of this weight. All right. So I want them to fall in love with the journey and not the
Yeah.
destination. Like, what is it that I have to do today to be able to, even though my goal is to lose 100 pounds, let's say, or reverse diabetes, what is it that I have to do today? What is it I have to concentrate on today to be able to maintain or to be able to get to my ultimate goal? So fall in love with the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's what I
like
teach my clients. I teach my clients that, and it's very successful. It's successful in the sense that I just navigate people through life because people are always saying, "Hey, give me a meal plan. Can I have a meal plan?" Like, yeah, I can give you a meal plan, but yeah, I'm telling you, after a few weeks, that meal plan is going to be out the window,
mhm.
right? This is
Yeah,
it took me to lose all of that weight. I lost 70 pounds in a year. It took me 11 months to lose the weight, right? But to lose that weight in 11 months, it didn't happen after the first month. It didn't happen after the second month. It didn't happen after the third. I was losing weight. I was progressing along the way. But at the end of the day, I still had a lot of weight to lose. So if I concentrate on however much weight that I had to lose, instead of just falling in love with the journey, what's the grind, I have to get out here and maintain my pace. Like I just said, I have to maintain my pace. What am I doing to maintain my pace on a
yeah,
daily basis to be able to get to my ultimate goal?
yeah. I want to dig into that a little bit more because I know from the clients that I work with as people who have a history of disordered eating and disordered exercise is that people put so much focus on the number on the scale rather than the behaviors that will get that number to go down. So like I tend to focus on like sleep being the most important thing because I have a history of chronic lack of sleep. And it affects everything. It affects your appetite. It affects how you move. Um, and so what are some of the things that you tend to focus on with your clients that are not weight related? Does
It's the
that
same
make
thing.
sense?
Yeah, it's the
Same
same
exact
thing.
thing.
Same thing. Same thing. Like I talked about, the diet is the easy part. First 30
Yeah.
days, I'm first 30 days, I'm watching them close. I'm okay, like because in my program we talk about three different things. We talk three pillars. There, it's nutrition, it's
Hmm.
mindset, and it's taking action. The
Hmm.
nutrition is the easy part. I tell them what to eat first few days, first month. Like I'm gonna give you a pattern, and here's an eating pattern. Here's what you're supposed to eat. Don't eat the other stuff. I have do's and don'ts. So it's do this, don't do that. It just makes it super easy for people instead of having to count this calorie, having to weigh that of food. Have to okay, what are my
Yeah.
macros? Like that's not. I mean, that's great and all, but that works, but most people are not going to be like that. Most people are not going to be, I'm counting my macros, I'm counting my calories because, oh, I'm writing in a journal, I'm journaling my food every day. Because guess what? Just like you just said, that's a habit that you have to build. It's
Yeah.
a habit that you have to build these. So after the nutrition, first few weeks, then we concentrate on the mindset and the taking action part, right? Because if your mindset is not correct, and if you're not taking the proper action, I can talk to you until
Hmm.
you're blue in the face. But if you're not taking this action, I'm going to take something. My job is to take something extremely difficult. Like people like, oh, nutrition is so hard. Nutrition, this, that, and the third. My job is to take that information and distill it down in such a way that there's no room for misinterpretation. So my
Hmm.
philosophy is to think like a genius, talk like a third grader. Right. Because
I love it.
if I start talking to you about all this scientific stuff and hormones and ghrelin and and all these serotonins and all these different hormones and how your body operates here and then I'm gonna lose people. Right.
Yeah.
That's not real life. Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose people like real fast. Like I have to know all that stuff. So that's what I mean, think like a genius. But then distill it down where you talk like a third grader to the point where someone can, not that you're necessarily talking to someone like a third grader, but to the point where it's still down enough to make it simple enough where people can actually do it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I did this action. Okay, now if that doesn't work, make it even simpler for them. So
Hmm.
to the point where they want to do it. So that's the process. So it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7, 8 months, 9 months later, now it's all about your mindset. It's not necessarily the food anymore because you know exactly what you should be eating. It's
Hmm.
just that, okay, I want to give up. This is hard. I don't want to do this anymore. My friends and family, what about when I go out here and there, all this different stuff. So that I have to navigate people through that. So that's what my program is about. It's about navigating you through real life to still be able to achieve your desired result.
I love that.
So it's about
Yeah.
habit change. It's about habit
Habit
change,
change.
changing your habits. And like I said, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. Teaching you how to make new habits,
Yeah.
healthy habits.
Yeah. And just for the listeners, a habit is something that is so ingrained in you, you don't even think about it anymore. So the behavior aspect of it is so important to just keep doing the behavior so often until you're just not even thinking about it. And that's when it's the habit.
100%. That's
Yeah.
when they say second nature, that's what they're talking about. Like, oh, this is second nature. I just do this and I just wake up and I do it. Your mind may say, oh, I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that. But you've trained your body so much that you can just wake up and do it automatically. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like for me, meditation, like I've been meditating for the last few years. Like I don't even have to think about it when I wake up. I already know it's the first thing that I'm doing because I've trained myself so much to know that it's meditation. It's my morning routine. Right. My body already knows it.
I love that. Well, how about we talk about the movement? Because like I said, I work with people who have a history of disordered, like, and when I talk about disordered, I talk about you were talking about the tracking and the counting calories and doing all that.
Yeah.
I work with the people who did that and it became an obsession. Like for me, when I was in that, I was not eating enough, I was moving too much, and I was obsessed with the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And if the numbers were off just a little bit, that was a bad day, and I'd be in bed for the rest of the day in a
Yeah.
depression,
Yeah.
which is not something that a human should be so worried about. You know what I mean? So I I like to teach joyful movement, so moving your body in a way that you like rather than it feeling like a punishment,
Mhm.
you know? So, yeah, let's talk about movement.
Yeah. Fall in love with the day, not the journey, right? Movement.
Mm-hmm.
Movement. I talk about movement. I make it super simple for people. A lot of my clients, they don't, they were just like me. They were total grasshoppers in the sense that I'm gonna eat whatever, right? This is what my clients will tell me. I'm gonna eat whatever I want and exercise if I want to, but probably rarely, right?
Yeah.
So now you have to get people into, like I said, you have to distill things down and make it so simple for people that they want to do it. Like I recommend 150 minutes per week. 150 minutes per week. That's what the recommendations say of
Mm-hmm.
cardio activity. Cardio activity and then 2 days of weight training. So what does that mean when someone who doesn't work out? Like, oh man, I don't work out, or I don't do this, or I don't do that. I just want you to be active. I don't necessarily want you to work out. I want you to get out there and run around and play with the kids. Go toss the football with the kids. Go run around and go
Yeah.
wrestle in the yard with the kids. Go after 30 minutes. So it's 30 minutes a day. That's 10 minutes after a 10-minute walk. So you can go for a 10-minute walk after breakfast. You can go for a
Yeah.
10-minute walk after lunch. You can go for a 10-minute walk after dinner. That is 30 minutes. That's 30 minutes a day
Yeah.
times 5 days a week. That's 150 minutes per week of
Yeah.
exercise. Now you got all the other things. Like I said, you got all the other different activities. Just start getting out there and start moving your body and start being active. Drop down and do some push-ups or just drop down. Get that. Even if you don't want to leave the house, like people are like, oh, I don't have a gym membership. Yeah, you don't have a gym membership, but you can, if you go to this little thing called YouTube and just punch in exercise videos, or
Yeah.
there's so many exercise videos, home exercise videos that you can do. And you can do that
Yeah.
literally right there in your living room. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
right there in
most of
your
them you
living
don't
room.
need equipment.
Yeah, you don't need equipment.
Yeah.
When I lost all the weight, this was during COVID. So we weren't going to gyms. I wasn't going to the
Right.
gym. That's what I had. I mean, I got a little makeshift equipment here at the house, but I got some dumbbells, I got some kettlebells, and I got crazy amounts of DVDs like Shaun T Insanity. I have,
Yes.
P90 legs. I got all these different things to be able to utilize, knock the dust off of them, and just start going to town with them. So that's what it's about. It's just all about being active. You don't have to go out and be a bodybuilder like, oh yeah, I want to be a bodybuilder, or I want to, be the super crazy athlete. Yeah, yeah. You're probably not going to be an athlete. You're probably not going to be an Olympian anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
Even people who want to be Olympians don't even make it to be Olympians. Like they're training for it. So I don't want you to do that. I want you to just live an active lifestyle. And an acronym I want folks to remember, it's called BOSS. BOSS. So it's burning. So when you exercise, you want it to burn. You want it to burn. You want to feel your muscles burning a little bit. So that's the B. You want to be out of breath. So that means that if you're on a treadmill, that means that you can talk, but you can't sing. So if you're on a treadmill and you're singing, you can sing. That means you're not working out hard enough, right? That means you're not working out hard enough at all. And then struggle. I want it to be a struggle. I want it to be a little bit of a struggle. I don't want it to be too easy for you. And then the last thing is I want you to sweat. So that's boss. So that is burning, out of breath, sweating, and struggling. Those are the what I want you to remember when you're exercising. So yeah, so it doesn't have to be, like I said, going to the gym and getting all crazy with it and having guys screaming, having a spotter and all, it doesn't have to be in there. It can just be simply you're working out in the morning time. Typically, for people who don't like to work out, you want to get it knocked out in the morning time. As soon as you wake up, have your clothes already ready. Like, okay, here's my workout clothes that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to, as soon as I wake up, like there's no thinking about it. You want to take all of the thinking out of it. So you think the day before, I'm going to plan this, I'm going to plan this. Okay, what am I going to work out? It's going to be my pre-workout formula. What's going to be my after workout formula or whatever, right? My clothes, what exercise program am I going to use? Am I going to walk? Am I going to, do some push-ups? Am I going to do P90X? Am I going to do Shaun T Insanity? Like, am I going to do a YouTube video? Like, what am I going to do? Yoga? Like, what am I going to do just to maintain this activity of 150 minutes per week? That's what the recommendations say.
Yeah.
That's what I recommend people with exercise. Just being active, being more active. Make it fun. Like you were saying, make it fun for yourself. Like, what's fun? Like, what's fun? It could be taking your dog to the dog park and run around with your dog at the dog park. Like, just be active. Just don't be a couch potato and be, just like I said, be a grasshopper. Don't just hopping around through life without a plan. Don't do that, because when the medical people come and say you got this condition, that condition, don't look for the doctor for a bailout plan. You just got to look in the mirror and look at yourself.
I love that. My thing lately has been my walks. I'm like so into walking. I am / used to be a spin instructor, so it was always like everything has to be hard and burn 1,500 calories. And lately for me, it's been my morning walks, and I usually walk 2 or 3 miles. And it's interesting because lately it's been less about the physical benefits and more the mental benefits of just going outside and going for a walk. And then very recently is when I use that time to listen to like podcasts or anything where I can learn as I'm moving, and then it goes by so fast. Sometimes I'll do 3 miles and I'm like, did I just do 3 miles? Because I'm like really into what I'm listening to.
100%.
So,
yeah, that's the P. That's the P. Peaceful mind. All right. So you peaceful
yeah.
mind. You did both at the same. You did peaceful mind and you did active body, all at the same time. Right. So that's the P and the A. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's why it goes by quickly.
Mm-hmm. And it's at a point now where if I don't go for a walk during the day, I'm like, I want to go for a walk like right now and just drop everything. I live next to a park that's like huge. So from my doorstep around the park once and back to my doorstep is 1 mile.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just do laps. And I don't even have to walk fast necessarily, but it's just for me, like going outside and just being in nature and getting 100%. Some sunshine.
100. That's what we need. We need three. We need actually a few things. We need sun. That's what we need. Human beings. We can make vitamin D, but we generally get it from the sun. So we need sun. We need to ground, touch the surface of the earth. A lot of times I teach my clients, they think it's weird, but when they reap the benefits of it, when the benefits come, they're like, oh no, it's not weird anymore. So get outside. So I tell people in the morning time, when the first light comes out, I want you outside in your backyard or in your front yard with your shoes off. With your shoes off, because you're grounding. Just like you were saying, you're getting back in contact with nature. And back in our ancestors, they didn't have all these fancy shoes like we have now and all the fancy, hardwood floors and all that stuff. Like nobody goes outside anymore and actually touches the surface of the ground with their actual bare feet or their hands, right? Because the earth has a heartbeat. Nature is perfect in her design. So the earth has a heartbeat, you have a heartbeat. So when you go out and you ground, guess what you're doing? Now you're taking that discharge, all that built up energy, and you're discharging it back into the ground. All right. So get out and get some sunshine, get out and touch the surface of the earth, and then breathing, right? A lot of breathing activities, force a lot of oxygen into your cells. Right? And then the last thing you want to do is take a cold shower in the morning time. A cold shower. So cold, though.
That's the point.
If you can find time to take a cold shower in the morning time, it's like a drug of choice. It is like a natural, you get a natural high from that because you shock your immune system in the sense that saying like, whoa, what in the world is going on? My body, I have to adapt to this crazy cold water. So you shock your nervous system, you shock your immune system.
Mhm.
That's how you can increase your immune system, give your immune system more vitality by shocking it. Right.
Yeah.
And then for about 6 or 7 hours, you'll feel amazing. Right. If you're ever in a stressful situation, let's just say if you're at work and you're like your boss pisses you off, you can actually go and you guys got a shower there, go and do some breathing exercises for a few minutes, or take a cold shower and then put your clothes back on and come back to work and see how you feel.
I like that.
Guarantee you won't be in the same state of mind.
I like that. So what are your thoughts on the ice baths or
It's the
ice, what
same
is it?
thing.
Ice
It's the
dip?
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people don't have time for an ice bath. I mean, to fill up an ice bath, it's pretty expensive. It's pretty expensive. I mean, to fill it, it's like $50 every
Mm,
time you fill up an ice. But like, get all this ice and go fill it up. Like ice baths, or so that's the point of a cold shower. So not people are going to be taking ice baths. That's not normal for people to take ice bath.
right.
But you do have a cold on your shower. You do have a lever that says hot and cold. You want it to get so cold that it's the point where it's uncomfortable, where you get to it just like, I don't want to get in there. This is so uncomfortable. It's like, I don't want to get in there. That's when you get in. That's when you get. So it's just like an ice bath. It's not as intense as an ice bath, but it kind of gives you the same benefits of an ice
Got
bath,
it.
taking a cold shower.
Despite my face, I'm still gonna try it at least once because I'll try anything once.
Yeah, it's gonna suck the first time. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna be the worst experience. You're like, why does this guy have me taking a freaking cold shower? This is the worst fucking thing ever. Right? But when you get out, I promise you only do it for here's what you can do. You don't necessarily take a cold shower. You take your regular shower at first, like, okay, my regular shower. And then starting out, the last minute, turn it cold. Last minute of the
Mm,
shower, turn it cold. Once you get better, once you can start getting used to it, you can get in there for 2 minutes. Take the last
yeah.
2 minutes and just turn it cold. And then it's gonna suck. But when you get out, you're gonna be like, you feel like $1,000,000. I promise you, you will.
That sounds more doable.
Yeah. Yeah. Take your regular shower. Just
Yeah.
don't get in there cold from the beginning. Take your regular shower. And then once you take your regular shower, the last minute or two, turn it ice cold. And just get in there and suck it up.
Nice. Okay, I'll try. I'll try it and I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, those are just a few hacks. Those are just a few hacks to start. Just like you were saying, get out in nature. Go out and touch the
Mhm.
ground. Go out and get some sunlight. Go do some breathing exercises and take a cold shower.
Yeah.
You'll start to feel them. You'll start to feel some differences.
Yeah. So tell me about your book.
The book, thank you. The book is called Plants Saved My Life because, like the story I've been telling you from the beginning, I was a pre-diabetic, had heart disease, and I was obese. So the book is basically an how-to guide. It's an inspirational guide and it's an instruction manual from A to Z. Like, how do I go from a grasshopper being in the worst shape of my life to actually being in the best shape of my life and reversing all these chronic conditions? So that's what it's geared around. It's geared around using nature to your advantage. So use
Mm,
nature to your advantage. So that's what the book's about. Everything from A to Z. Like, how do I go from if I'm in the worst shape to being in immaculate shape? And then that's what the book is going to teach you. So it's everything that I did to lose the weight during that year, everything that I did, every tool, every practice, every mindset hack that I learned, not everything, but I learned more since. But everything that I learned, I used and I put into that book. So it's called Plants Save My Life. So you can get it everywhere where books are sold. Amazon, anywhere books are sold.
awesome.
Barnes and Noble, you name it.
Awesome. Audible?
Audiobook. The audiobook's coming out soon too.
Awesome. That's how I read my books these days. It's Audible.
Yeah,
Usually on my
Audible.
walks.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I do as well. I don't have time to read books all day every day. I'd love to have
Yeah.
time to read books all day every day, but if I put it on an Audible, oh man, it just makes it super convenient. I can just listen
That's
to the
cool.
book at any speed that I want, whether it's slow speed, high speed, whatever.
Yes. That's
So yeah, so the
awesome.
Audible book is coming out, should be coming out probably next month, which is January. Should be coming out soon.
Okay. And where can people find you on socials and websites?
website, you go to medicinefreemethod.com if you want to get in contact with me, if you want to find out more about my services. If you want to sign up to my email newsletter, which I encourage you to do, because in my email newsletter, I'm putting out, just like all these hacks I've been giving you, I'm putting out crazy amounts of hacks in there. And I always talk about pace, right? Maintaining your pace. All those 4 areas I concentrate on, lifestyle medicine. So that is what the newsletter is about. You can find me there, or you can find me at onedeterminedvegan.com also as well. But medicinefreemethod.com and One Determined Vegan. So One Determined Vegan is pretty much everywhere.
Awesome. And I'll link everything in the show notes too.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more question for you.
100%.
And this question I ask at the end of every single episode. And that is, if you had one piece of advice that you could give to the world, what would it be?
Aha. I love this question. So my one advice would be from the great late Jim Rohn. I don't know if you ever heard of Jim Rohn, but Jim Rohn is basically one of the most inspirational speakers that no one's ever heard of. All right. And he says that you might not be able to do all you find out, but you should find out all you can do. All right. You might not be able to do all you find out. There's a lot of things that you're going to find out in this world, and you might not be able to do them all. But one thing that you should do, you should be able to, is you should find out everything that you possibly can. One of my favorite quotes is, I must be everything that I can be. I must be everything that I can be. So that's why I live my life through the ant philosophy. Like I said before, the ants they never quit. You put a pebble in front of them, they're trying to get somewhere, trying to stop them. They're going to try to go to the left. They're going to try to go to the right. They're going to keep going until they reach their goal. And another thing, that a reason that ants are important is because they always plan ahead. In the summertime, when it's nice and sunny out, they're prepping for the winter. That's why you always see them in a hurry. They're in a hurry. Go, go, go. Take this food, store it away, store my provisions away for the wintertime. Yeah. So when the wintertime comes and food is scarce and it's cold outside, guess what? I got plenty to eat. So they plan ahead. And then in the wintertime, when they know that it's wintry and they know that the spring is going to come again. They know that the sun's going to come again. So when it's negative, they think positive. So when that's what I tell people. So when things are negative, think positive, because the sun's always going to come back out again. So this is what ants do. And then the last thing that ants will do is, how much provisions do you think an ant will put away in the summer to prepare for the winter? How much do you think they'll put away?
I don't know. Enough for both seasons?
Exactly. The answer, all they possibly can. That's how much they'll put away in the summertime to prepare for the winter. So that takes me back to that. You might not be able to do all you find out, but you should find out everything that you can possibly do when it comes to your talents. Everybody has a talent. Your job is to find out how can you use that talent to serve the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kelley Gilberry signing off. Until next time.